Hi there guys, it's Joel here from Trendsignal. I'm going to be taking you through one of our dynamic trader trades of the day. I'm going to show you a trade that we took yesterday evening on the US 30 or the Dow Jones. Now this isn't usually one of my preferred markets. I trade with a slightly different style in the mornings, but I do trade this from time to time. And this is one of the trades that I took yesterday evening, so I thought I'd show you with it. There's a little bit different trade management. If you've seen how I trade the DAX normally and how I manage those trades, it's slightly different for the Dow because it needs a bit more room to breathe. But I'm going to show you how this works first of all, and we'll go through it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to play the markets, and on this feature that we use on this playback here, we have the ability to speed it up. So I'm going to show you where we're looking at trades and what's happening. So first things first, let's get it moving a little bit. And what you'll notice is we do not have a trade here at the moment. Effectively, the market went into a buy zone whilst there was a downtrend. We did get a change, but it was a little bit late. So some of our riskier traders may have taken an entry at this point here, but they'd be looking to capitalize very quickly, especially once this started to head back down again. They'd be looking to come out. But most people wouldn't be taking that because it doesn't follow the standard procedures for entry. So what we need to do is we need to wait for this bar to hit the arrow, then the arrow will flip to the other side and we'll be looking for a selling opportunity. We also want those vector averages, which you can see are currently green and turning red at the top, to go downwards. And when the actual bar is hit here, we will then look to change direction. So let's move it down to real speed now because we can see that we've actually hit the bar. So the next candle, we're going to wait the next 2 minutes and we're going to have our entry, and it will be a sell entry. What will happen is the arrow will paint around here. It'll be outside of that blue line because that's the recent high. So there will be a sell arrow appearing here, and we will look to enter the candle. Now, if the candle closes below that price envelope 1, that black line where it currently is at the moment, then we will enter the trade immediately. If it, however, is above that bottom black line, then we won't enter the trade immediately, but it's looking pretty good at the moment. The blue line in the middle, we can ignore, blue and orange line, because the arrow will paint on the outside. So we can ignore the intermediate trend. And it looks good at the moment. We're going to have our entry point. So that's our decision made. Whenever this candle closes and a new bar opens, as long as it closes below that black line as it is at the moment, we'll be entering immediately. So that's it. And that's all we've got to do. We've got to wait for it. And this is how the markets will move. But it is a long time. What you'll notice when people think about trading the 2-minute markets, they often think there's no time to make any decisions. I don't want to stop talking here because it ends up filling the next 2 minutes with silence and it becomes uncomfortable. But actually, you can see how much time you do have to make a decision. We know what's going to happen in the next minute or two because we know that we've touched that arrow. We know that we're below the black line at the moment. As long as it doesn't pull back, we'll be having our sell entry. We also know, as I said, because the recent high of the last move was here, our black arrow will point at this point here. So we'll see that trigger. There we go. That's it. We're in. Immediately, we want to be entering this candle. So we want to enter around the 42943. I probably got in at 42942 just there because I was a little bit slow. As I said, that's it. We're in, and that was at 42942. But that's our entry. So now what we're going to do is we're going to manage that. We need to know why we've entered. Well, first of all, black arrow is above that blue line. So it means I can enter as long as the price is below this black line here. And it was perfect. We've also got our vector averages heading downwards. Our intermediate line, I did say you can ignore that, and you absolutely can. But the good thing here is it is orange. So that means that we're going to give it, it doesn't matter what's going on, but it is going in the direction that we want it to. Now, I'm going to speed this up a little bit, and we can see where the market goes and how we would maneuver around this. So what will happen is I'll usually give it some reasonable movement. So I would say that's a reasonable movement just happened here. So I'm looking, instead of you moving my stop loss to this next arrow down here, I would want to be moving my stop loss to about 1 pip in profit. I'd want it around the 42941 area, maybe the 42940, give it 2 or 3 pips in profit and lock those in. So no matter what happens, if this trade comes back against me, I'm taking a profit. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for some meaningful movement for the market to move downwards. And what you'll notice, There we go. We've had a bit more meaningful movement. Probably want to see it closing down here. If it doesn't close down there, then we're going to leave our stop loss at that break-even point. But usually it takes 5 candles, about 10 minutes, for the market to play its tug of war before it decides what it wants to do. So at the moment, we're just keeping this level at that 3 pips. 2 or 3 pips in profit. So this is where our stop loss is going to be. And we're now getting to that 10-minute area. Now the good thing is it has started to move in our favor again. It's back where we want it to be. It's not quite strong enough movement for me yet. But I'd say once we start to move down a little bit more, I would want to be moving my stop loss to the recent high here. There you go. I'd say that's good. So now my stop loss would want to be down here. So the price here is 42916. And our entry was 42942, so we're about 20 to 30 pips in profit, well, 26 pips in profit, and it's the same thing. I'm going to let this market breathe a little bit, and I'm going to use that recent high, let it come back. If it comes back to here, it's fine. I'm out for 26 pips of profit, but I'm hoping that it doesn't. The other thing is if these vector averages both go green, I'll probably look to come out as well. But actually, there we go. It started to move back down again. And if one goes green, it doesn't matter. If they both go green and it closes above there, then I would look to close it out. But at the moment, we're up here. Started to make that movement down again. There we go, it's broken those lows, so I'm just going to move my stop loss to this point up here. That's it. We're now locking in another 18, 19 pips of profit. So we are now in total about 43 pips in profit there. Bearing in mind, we got in 1 pip late. We're 43 pips to the good. It started to move down. It's then going to chop around, go sideways for a little bit. If it starts to break those new lows again, all I'm going to do is move my stop loss lower. So we're up here at the moment. It's just chopping around. And as you can see it, it's just moving and moving and moving. Still quite high. We want it to break below these lows here, but we're still a fair way away from our stop loss. We had one vector average change here, but it didn't close with both of the vector averages up, so we're staying in the trades. There you go, it's pulling down. We're on that low side. Want to see it break down a little bit more. Just chopping around a little bit. And now we've had the arrow hit. So now what you will notice, this arrow has hit here, so we're going to be getting out of this trade. We close this trade out now, and what I'll do is I'll pause the market. That would be it. So we'd be around this area. And the reason that we would want to exit this trade is that our emergency stop has been creeping down whilst we've been moving down. And it's come down to this point here. I did have an opportunity when we came to these new lows to bring our stop loss from down here to maybe down here, or even this one down there. But to be honest, the system has managed it out for me anyway, and it's told me get out of that trade there. So it means that realistically, you'd be looking ideally to come out around the 42868. We probably came out a little bit after that once we'd seen it touch at around the 42865. So realistically, you've got in at 942. And you've got out at 865, you've made about 77 pips of profit on there. Your initial stop loss on this trade was 943 up to 96. So you had a 53 pip stop loss to a 77 pip gain. About 1.5 times your risk reward ratio. If you were trading with Trendsignal strategies, you'd use about 1.5% per trade. So you'd have made about 2.25% of your account on that. And that's nice and simple. If we want to follow the trade just to the very end, if it had turned back on us, we can let it continue going. And what happened was it moved upwards. It kept going down. That's fine. We'll skip it another 10 minutes, see what happened. It then bottomed out a little bit later. And where our initial stop loss still actually wouldn't have been hit, but the system has got us out of this. We could have had a few more pips of profit in there, but actually, I don't care about any of this. The market is starting to move sideways. We're probably looking for a turn in the opposite direction at some point soon. So, there we go. That's it. Thank you very much, guys.
Want to learn how to find profitable trades like this? Register for our free trading webinar and discover the strategies that turn you into a confident trader. Prefer a more hands-on approach? Schedule a one-to-one walkthrough with a senior trader. See our software in action and get those questions answered and take control of your trading journey.